Welcome to the Lighten Up podcast with Lauren Polly, your invitation for living on the lighter side of life. I'm Lauren Polly, and I am delighted you've chosen to join me today for episode 147. Going it alone? Why? It is so fascinating to me to notice this independent thing we have going on, like independence syndrome, the need to be self-sufficient and to kind of blaze our own trail or mark our own territory, and to do so completely and utterly alone. It's such a conundrum to me because the universe is full of such support, so many things that desire to contribute to you, to gift to you, to team with you, to be able to create a life and a living that you love. It just kind of takes the ability, the willingness, and quite frankly, the momentary choice to ask for help, to seek out support, to actively practice receiving other people's contribution. I know sometimes people's contributions and quote-unquote help aren't exactly what the doctor ordered. Some people have very interesting points of view about what they want to contribute to you. A lot of that comes from their point of view about what is needed, either what they have the need to gift to you in kind of a superior sense, or what they think that you need to do. And again, that's coming from their perspective. That's nothing having to do with you tuning into your own inner voice and kind of blazing your own trail and moving forward on your own unique path. A lot of times we turn down assistance, or we put up barriers to it, and we stop asking for that much needed support because we're tired of having people put those needs on us. Because if you are aware and you are sensitive, you end up very, 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 very viscerally aware of that. That's always been a struggle for me. Having people work on my business with me is one of my most favorite things. But I have to be very careful on who I hire, because they do sometimes go into the points of view about what I should be doing and what I need to do as the next step. A lot of them also bring their personal stuff to the table of what they need to be gifting to me. None of that really has anything to do with contributing, actually being there as a support, as a sounding board, as a curiosity and a wonderment, so that the creation can actually get greater. This goes for business partners and hiring folks to work with you. This goes for relationships, finding a life partner, developing it with families, your children, coworkers at the office, just day-to-day people that you're running into. It is quite fascinating how often our interactions are stopped from being contributory and something that is fuller and more lively and vibrant and joyful, because we all bring our own interesting points of view about the need that you have to bring and the need the other person needs to bring to the table. I think a lot of us shut down receiving support and asking for that support, being open to it, soft to it, and unbarriered to it, because we are so viscerally aware of those needs, either spoken or not spoken. It's also kind of fascinating because so many people have the point of view that if they do get assistance to be able to create something, that thing that they create is not theirs anymore. It somehow belongs to the group or the team or the other person who is assisting you. It also sometimes kind of takes a weird filter of not being as unique and different as it could be because you had other people's voices in the mix. These may be based on past reference points, past things you've been through. You know, if you're in a relationship with someone and, oh my goodness, they are thinking and telling you constantly what you should do, what you should do, what you should do. Eventually you don't really want to ask for assistance anymore. I totally get it. I've been there. Big time. Same thing goes that, if you are creating something, either a relationship, a business, a project, and the people in it become a little bit more dominating and drive the show and your voice isn't heard, Of course, you kind of want to go, you know what, I'm going to pick up my toys and go home and just do it myself, because you actually don't have space in that dynamic to be heard, to be seen, and for you to actually gift what lights you up. There is a very different way for creation, and really when you're looking at following your dreams and charting a new path for yourselves, jumping tracks to a greater future, part of the thing that will actually take you further is being able to cultivate relationships where there is a gifting and there's a receiving. There's a I'm contributing and you're contributing. There's an I'm open to your voice and I'm also open to my voice being here included as well. There's the ability not to bring your point of view to the table of what you should be doing or what you need to do and what the other person should be doing or needs to do. That actually opens up more space for both of you or all of you to be included and to receive. And sometimes, I work in the coaching industry and teaming up with bright, beautiful, shiny people and quite frankly, super brave people who are willing to lean forward and lean into the request of, I just need somebody to walk with me through this. I don't need somebody to guide me. I don't need somebody to lead me in a certain direction. I just need someone to walk with me who will continually open space, ask me questions, and make this journey greater. To be able to be there as that support for people is one of the most profound things that I've chosen to practice and be in my life. I also kind of see how a lot of the dynamics that people go through isn't that. And because of that, they shy away from actually leaning into the support that is there. Whether that is hiring a coach, whether that's joining an online program for not just the coach, but the community that goes with it, whether that's a friendship or a relationship or just a more healthy dynamic at work. What would it be to actually ask for the people in your lives who won't pull you in a certain direction, won't project on you about where you should go or what you should do, but someone who is actually willing and people who are actually willing to walk with you through your new charted course. If you were willing to ask for that and you were learning these techniques to be able to cultivate those relationships, how much easier would creation be? When you don't have to go it alone and you don't have to do everything yourself, how much greater does your creation be? If you weren't the sole person where everything was on your shoulders, how much greater would it be? And what is so truly wonderful to you in particular about going it alone and staying away and out of arm's reach from the people who actually could contribute to you? You have to be aware. You don't have to be defended or protective. I think a lot of people teach that. You've done other kind of like metaphysical studies or self-help. I know in mainstream psychology, that's a big thing of like drawing healthy boundaries and barriers, kind of knowing your sense of self in a very strong way and almost pushing your voice into the relationship and how that dynamic actually doesn't work. And I think, again, one of the ways we shy away from contribution and go into independent living and going it alone is because we're so entrained to being or trying to do that in relationships, and we see the fallout. Drawing boundaries and barriers and pushing your voice through in a relationship, how does that work for you? For me, whenever I've done that in the past, my body has a lot more tension. My mind is a lot more busy. The dynamic between me and the person kind of becomes like a pissing match or who's greater in this given moment, and then we flip-flop back and forth. There's more subtle, harsher energies at play, which is not the beautiful dynamic that can be when you're actually able to team with people who have your back and also are soft enough to allow you to have your own as well. Whatever it is that has had you pulling away from support, shutting down, shutting off, or any past experience that you've had that really made you go, you know what, I'm just better if I go it alone. I am better if I'm on my own, not dependent on anybody, not having to put up with anybody else's stuff. Whatever that past reference point is, would you be willing to challenge it? Would you be willing over the next week to watch your patterns, your thought patterns, your emotion patterns, your energy patterns, everything, where when somebody offered you something, you felt your wall go up. You felt your mind close, your mouth open to say, that won't work, before you even listened, or you felt yourself shut down completely and totally pull away. Would you be willing to keep an eye on that, an awareness eye on it, and whenever it comes up, challenge yourself? What if you didn't have to react that way, but you could soften yourself down and ask what contribution you may be able to receive? Contribution sometimes doesn't look all warm and fuzzy. It's not everybody kind of like cheerleading you on and patting you on the back. Sometimes somebody contributes to you by kind of shooting you between the eyeballs or opening your eyes to something you were totally blind to 5 minutes ago. That is part of the work to be able to become more aware, to become more self-aware, definitely, and to be able to create greater in the future. You got to kind of look at those blind spots. So some of the contribution you may receive and be guarding against is people actually gifting you more awareness of what's going on. Would you be willing, again, to keep your eyes on that? And when you guard against it or want to talk over it, stop yourself and just ask, what could I receive from this exchange? And that exchange, that receiving, may just be more awareness, not necessarily warm and fuzzy, but you know what? That's going to lead to greater in my future. And quite frankly, that will lead to greater in your dynamics. Because how often do we go into communication breakdown because we are in our own little bubble and own little world? We're not actually unbarriered enough to show up and contribute to the people in our lives. You absolutely don't have to go it alone. Creating something new, jumping tracks to a greater future, blazing your own trail, following your dreams, whatever it is you're looking at currently to be more fulfilled, happier and lighter, and oh good Lord, just enjoying your life more. What if that wasn't a solo path you had to take and shoulder everything? What if you could actually allow yourself to open up to the possibilities of other people being there to support you along the way? Receiving from them, allowing contribution in, allowing more awareness to come in. And in that awareness and in that openness, you being able to navigate, learn how to navigate those waters to be able to cultivate healthier dynamics. Sometimes that is a no, that doesn't work for me. That's perfectly okay. That's more than okay. But you don't even get to the clarity of that if you are shutting down and only willing to go it alone. Whether you are looking for a deeper dive into following your dreams and blazing a new trail for yourself, whether you are looking at actually fulfilling potential for yourself right now, if you are feeling called for more support and desire to, again, raise your hand and lean into it, I would love to be here to support you in that. Yes, these podcasts are always here, and I hear from all of you out there that just listening to my voice and the message always lifts you up, and you kind of feel that invisible hand of mine on your back. That is such exciting feedback. I invite you, if it's light, to jump in deeper with me. This Following Your Dreams 12-week program is kicking off next week on March 11th. We're going to be really looking at what lights you up, what gives you pleasurable living, what fulfills your purpose, and how to actually reinvent your life and your career and your business to match that. Again, this is going to be a supportive program, not just with me, but with the others in it. And to be able to receive more contribution, more awareness, more energy, what would that create in your life and your living? It's going to be a fun program. There's already some amazing beings who are looking at creating some cool stuff in it. I invite you to take a look at the link down below, see if it pops for you. And as always, I am here to support you. All the other listeners on this show are actually energetically here to support you too. There is way more to receive in this life, and quite frankly, way easier paths to creating something unique and delicious and delightful for you in all areas of your living. Enjoy this content, listen to it again. Let me know how it goes. Have an amazing week, and as always, I will chat with you next Tuesday.